Brother, me, what's up, man?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. So we'll be starting very soon. Wait for the rest to join us.
All right, no problem.
Good evening to every one of us.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm very happy to see us once again. So we'll be starting right away. It's already late, so that we can finish all that we need to do on time. So Mr. K, hope you've gotten to Lagos.
Yes, I have.
Okay, thank God. How's the journey, sir?
It's fine, stressful. I'm fine.
Well, so right away, before we go to what we have today, from last class, we had some left out to be done, but quite surprising, we only have Broke and Roshijo online to help us balance that up before we quickly rush into what we need to cover for today. So we need to start with Bro K. So you quickly take us through Markdown in just 10 minutes. Then Broshiju will also take us also on more examples on data types. So after which shall we come up and explain set and dictionary. Then we have the assignment for the week. So so as to save our time, over to you, Bro K.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to set up my Jupyter notebook.
Okay.
Cambro, should you go first? So my system is.
It's not ready. No, we'll be patient.
Okay. Can you enable sharing screen? It's
Okay.
disabled.
Okay, coming. Okay.
Can we see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I'll be talking about markdowns. So the last time I did this assignment, all I spoke about was creating your own creating a markdown. But I did not talk about the different things you can use a markdown for, like different functions you can get, or different things you can do with the markdown. So I'll be starting from the simple basics. For instance, like creating a header with a markdown, we can adjust the size of. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay, can adjust the size of the markdown or the header by just by adding pound signs. So for instance, if we want, like for the first size, like size 1, we just put one pound sign and type, okay, let me just type header. And click markdown. For a smaller size, we add two pound signs. You can see smaller. For the next smaller size, you add 3. For every pound sign you add, kind of divides the font size by, I think, by 2. That's for changing size. You can do so many other things. You can create paragraphs, you can break lines, you can bolden and do italics. Like for instance, in our Microsoft Word, to make something bold, you can just simply press Ctrl B. But in this case, it is different. To bolden a text, you have to put it in two asterisks, like this. For italics, to italicize a sentence or a word or whatever you are trying to do in your markdown, you put just one asterisk. Now, these are not the only ways to do it, but for compatibility's sake, because sometimes the Python will reject some of them or misinterpret some of the other ways to do it. So this is like the safest way to do it. For the bold, you can also do it as by putting two what's it called, two underscores, something like this. But in some cases, if you do this, the Jupyter Notebook might interpret what you are writing wrongly, especially in cases when where you have an underscore inside of your text. It might interpret it wrongly, so it is safer or more compatible to do it with the asterisks. Now, to italicize and bolden a particular thing, all you have to do is just put in three asterisks. Now, in cases where you want to put in a link into like a website link into your header or something, all you have to do is put the name of the link, like what you want to use to describe the link. For instance, what example can I use? Okay, so run. Now, if someone else should see this code, the output of what I just typed would just be Google. It will just type Google. It will just show Google. This www.google.com would not actually show in it, and you'll be able to click the Google and to take you to the link. You can also create a description so that when your cursor hovers over the Google, it will show something you want it to write. And in that case, all I have to do is here I create like a quotation, like a script, and type whatever I want to type. Like, okay, for instance, best search engine. all this is just to make your code easier to understand, or to just add some things into your code without going through stress. And they seem a little bit more stressful than when you are doing it on Microsoft Word, but it's just to save time and do all this in markdowns. What else? What else can I do? Um, Now, okay, for lists, for lists, if you want to create a list inside a markdown, all you have to do is, okay, let's say a numerical list, starting from 1 to number 5. All you have to do is make sure you start with 1 and you type whatever you want to type in your list. You can arrange the numbers anyhow you like. It does not matter. I can say 1, 5, 7. Python understands that it is a list and to correct what I am doing on the output, to correct what I am doing. But if I start with 2, it will not see it as a valid list. I can do all ones straight down. And if I don't want to do a numerical list like this, I don't want to do 1 to 3, I can just put in an hyphen, then type create my list. Now to underline in your markdown, all I have to do is put 3 underscores. I think I'm correct. Under the next line. So if I type the where's good. Next line, I just have to put in 3 underscores, and on the output it will print it out as underlined. I don't know if I've done what Robayo wants needs me to do. Robayo, Mr. Bayo, sir.
I can hear you. Actually muted. So I'm quite let's say elated by the delivery, and it's off. Uh, I will have to wait for him to come and take his eulogy now. I don't know if I pronounced it well. So normally the next person that should, okay, is there any question from his presentation? Any question? Do you have question for him?
I'm sorry, my laptop died, so
Okay.
I don't think I'll be able to continue.
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I go on?
Okay, Brother, you can go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to confirm something. You said the markdown you use in your code. That's like assuming I was to use maybe Jupyter Notebook to write my Python code. I set some things in as my markdown. Will that reflect even if after I export it? I don't know if you get the question.
Can you come again, sir?
I said, made mention of something that we could use the markdown as part of our code. So I was trying to confirm again that if I was to write maybe a script using the Jupyter Notebook and I export the code, will the markdown also reflect?
Okay. So Mr. K, is your question. Over to you.
Yes, I think so. It should. It should. It is supposed to be a function. It's
Okay.
supposed to be. Yeah, it should. It should. Robert,
All
help me,
right.
please.
Okay. If we notice the way we do write it in Jupyter Notebook, we have to put it in a different cell. That is the we can't have both code and markdown on the same cell. But if we actually export, maybe we export our code as .py now, and we now use another editor to actually open the same file. Now, for as many, I don't know if some of us are familiar with VS Code. Now, many of these editors, you may have to install an extension that can actually read markdown files. So, but I will do something now. I will share a screen with us, and we'll see the application of the reason why I actually want us to know this markdown. So I'll be sharing my screen now. I'll go to my GitHub account. So come in while I do that. So there's and let me quickly ship this in. No, so many of us have not submitted assignments, and where the thing is waiting for us is by next month we'll be starting Git and GitHub, and it's a bit. So let me say it's a bit um, professional kind of. It's a professional tool that, as someone that write code, you must know. If we check any programming job, we see on LinkedIn or wherever, they require that someone knows how to use Git and GitHub. So many of the things I'm trying to engage us in, we realize that on the long run, there are things that are very, very important. So let me share my screen with us. So I want to share someone's project with us, so that we can see the application of markdowns. So we can actually still have it in the same file, and some editors can read it. Some editors may not be able to read it. But let me show us one simple application. This was a project done by the other instructor, and he has received some attention due to the project. So he used Python to write everything. And as we can see now, as we can see what we have down here. He has a file in the project called readme.md. So when you have something like .md, that's just completely marked down file. So now the markdown file, this is the readme.md, explains how to use the software, the solutions he has provided. So as you can see now, just like what he explained for us, so some of us can begin to interpret how he did this. So you use maybe 3 hash here. At this point, you use 2 stars to bolden it. Maybe you use 4 hash here. You used maybe 5 hash here, 5 hash here. Then you use the hyphen, then he padded it in, then the link he taught us, as you can see, how. So this how now will link to how to use the solution, the software he has done. So as you can see, so this is one of the applications of Markdown. So when you have a solution or you develop a model, for someone that is not involved in programming, you need to explain to a layman. So this, you use Markdown to do that. So just one of the applications though. So I just decided to use this opportunity to also let us see that many of these things we actually learn. So let's put add to it. They have their applications. So I was also talking about Git and GitHub. If we are still lagging behind in that, we need to, because what we even have on the GitHub account is enough to learn, talk less of now when we now start the Git itself. So it's going to be, so for those that have been uploading, they are already getting familiar with some of the technical terms. Like if I say PR, I mean pull request. They already know what it means when I say, okay, I've done a PR to your work. That means I've sent a pull request to you. So we need to also do that. So all these skills, all these techniques, they come together and they make us a complete um, data scientist. So it's not just the code alone. So ordinarily today, the other persons that should present today should be Bro Shiju and Sister Bulu. So, but Bro Shiju is currently out of town, so he's not with his laptop. So, but it is a it's also in another way. It's also an advantage to us. So, it's a plot. His assignment has been double, so he will be sharing examples on data types, and will also be taking us on operators by Monday. So we'll be expectant, sir. So the other person is Sister Bolu. So are you ready, ma? Or should we? So she has been shouting me up as regards the network. She's having issue with network. But I would like to ask her, will you still like to have your the class today, or you will take us on Monday, ma? Can you hear me? Oh, the network is actually bad. Since you can even barely hear me. Okay, so I think that's what will happen. She'll be doing a presentation on Monday. So so we'll go straight to what we have left for this week. So okay, so we are touching sets and dictionary. I know we've touched it before, but we'll be going a little bit deeper today. So okay, so what is set? We are familiar with list. This is an example of list. Food, like we have like series of sequence of elements. So in this now, this is a food now, but this is actually a list. So like we are used to it when we enclose sequence of elements using square brackets, then that's a list. Then when we now enclose it using parentheses, this is a parenthesis. Now when we enclose using parentheses, that's a tuple. So that's a tuple. And we will now look at what set is. So what I mean is when I change this to be this way, then food becomes a tuple. When I change it, this it becomes a tuple. But when I make it, when I use square bracket, then food is a list. But set is quite different. Set has some unique properties that are very, very different. And as we can see, set are unordered. That's the first thing. Set elements are unique. So duplicate elements are not allowed. A set itself may be modified, but the element contained in the set must be an immutable type. So that means, as you can see, this is a list. Food is a list, and we have two rice. We have rice. We have rice. So we have rice and we have rice. That's two rice. List can actually accommodate that. If I print my food, you will see my food come out fine. So my food came out fine. I have two rice. But when we are dealing with set now, set does not take does not allow you to have duplicate elements. So what I can do is I can actually make a list become a set by just writing set, then I put in bracket that list. Then let me print this now. So what I did here was that I did set, then the list now. Then it will convert the food into a set and store it inside clean food. Then I want to print out the clean food now. So if we look at it now, the first thing is it has removed the duplicate. That means you will see that rice appeared only once. And another thing you will see is that it has scattered the order of our list. Beans is now occupying the first position, cocoyam the second position, and all that. So those are the uniqueness that come with sets. So it's unordered, the elements are unique, then you can't have duplicate elements. You can't have duplicate elements. And we might begin to ask ourselves, what's the application of sets? If we already have a list, what's the application? Now, one of the applications is, imagine you want to store the matric number of students, maybe newly matriculated list of students are being stored. You know, these are some of the mistakes paperwork gives in all these administrative blocks. You know, they may assign matric number to the same matric number to someone. But if we actually subject the list of the matric number to be assigned, if we subject it to a set, then it will filter it out. All we will be having is, we'll just be having unique values. So as we continue to work, we'll begin to apply this, and we'll see the applications. So let's press further in our use of set. So this is just one way. I can actually create my own set this way. I can say my set, and you know, like I said, list, you make use of square brackets, dictionary, tuple make use of parentheses, but list make use of curly braces. So let me say in this case, let's say 34, 78, 46, 89. So my set, this is actually a set now. So if I want to know the data type, so we already know how to do that. If I say type my set, then to tell me the type. So as you can see it here. So it's telling me my set is actually set. So that's just set. Now let's press further and let's play around it. This is our variable. So okay, this session will soon finish. We actually started late. So let's do well to connect using the same link when this section is over. So now let's play around the variable. Now I want to ask a question and anybody can answer. This first line, if I do extracted food, then square bracket 3, what will be something stored inside extracted? What will I have inside extracted? Please, I want quick response so that we can be fast. What will I have inside extracted?
Yam.
Yam. Oh,
Yam.
no.
Yam.
No. It will actually be cocoyam, because Python start indexing as from 0. So rice, the first rice is sitting on 0.
0.
Second rice is sitting on 1. The yam is sitting on 2. So cocoyam will actually be 3. So
Okay.
it's extracted in 3. So now I have it that way. Now, if you see the third line, I have list in bracket extracted. So what I want to do is, now I've stored, let me show us the output. We have it this way. As you can see, cocoyam. So if I do list extracted, what I'm trying to do is, I want to convert cocoyam as it is, which is a string. I want to convert it into a list. So I want each letter to be an element. So when I do that, and when I print x, so I have it this way. So the x now, it has, so we are beginning to learn some of these methods. So when you use list and you put anything in bracket of it, it's tried, especially if it's a string, it's tried to break it down and make each of the character element. So now as you can see, ex now is a list now, is a list. Why extracted is just a string. So I formed a list from a string. So now I can still play around it and say, okay, let me make it set. So I can say set x. So equals set of x. So I don't want to see, I need to see any. So when I do that, and when I print my sect s, print my sect x, so as you can see, MCAOY, so it dealt with any duplication. So, and the order is not even ordered at all. So we are just trying to see that uniqueness that is with set. So now let's play around some popular method in set briefly. Now these are some key methods in set. Coming to perfect this according to what Mr. K taught us. So yeah, we have that. So now let's look at set to be something like this. For those of us that did math, we are used with set. So when you're talking about set, talking about you can have maybe union, you can have intersection. I mean, that would the one standing at the middle. So look, if you look at the example I have here, now this is a sect from the example we have. This is a sect, so class 1. So they have this particular matrix number. So you can see that the matrix numbers are unique. Then we have class 2. They also have unique matrix numbers also. Now, if maybe I want to add the two of them together, what I just need to do is just say the first one, and I say dot union, what I want to add to it. Then I store it inside the variable. So when I do this, I have this. So it has, so even if there's a duplicate, let me try and duplicate what I have in the other one. 3, 4, 5, 6. So even if there is a duplicate, it filters it out. So let's begin to envision it this way. Maybe someone brought a list from this class, brought a list from another class, and realizing that as a lecturer, two matrix numbers. So with sets, you can actually just address it. So let's begin to look at it from the data science point of view. That you have set of data and there are some duplicates, and you want to just deal with the duplicates. You don't want to do with duplicates. You want to do with just a single data. So set addresses that. So when you use union, it adds two sets together, avoiding duplication. So let's say, for example, you want to get the union, the intersection, and you want to get what is common between two sets. So you can just use intersection. So when you use intersection, and let me press shift enter. So now, as you can see, the intersection is what is common between this set and the other set. So you can begin to see why Python is very, very powerful for data science. See how it's just playing around powerful data, just easily giving us distinct values, giving us something that will have stressed us so much. So imagine this to be maybe thousands of rows, or this to be another thousands of rows, and you want to get the intersection, you want to get the common matrix number, common values in those heavy data easily with just this single line. It will walk through the two sets and it will get it out. So we can begin to see why some people will have to convert maybe a list to a set and begin to manipulate over it. So we can do some other things, just like is disjointed, determines whether or not two sets have any elements in common. So let's take for example, so this one returns a boolean, so I want to know if there's something common between two sets. So this does not store a value, it returns boolean whether true or false. So I can say, okay, let me write, we're already used to conditional statements, let's write something simple. So let me write if class 1, so if class 1 dot is disjointed, class 2. So if that is possible, then print there is something fishy in this list, in this in the lists submitted. So do I have that? It is true, do that, okay. So as you can see, we are familiar with our conditional statement, and it checks if I'm coming. I want to verify something. Ctrl Z, Ctrl X. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'm coming. So I think is-jointed is actually the other way of my explanation. Yes. So if there is nothing in common, if there is nothing in common, let me do this. Okay, so if there is nothing in common, this returns true. If there's nothing in common, but if there is something in common between them, it returns false. So what we were doing the other time, let me go back to that.